Sure, you can get a hair transplant. I don't know. I don't think they call it a helmet. I call it a helmet. Oh my God, why am I crying? I cannot believe a man is noticing my hair loss. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little different. I'm a little bit nervous. I am going to talk about my hair loss. So I have been dealing with some hair loss for probably about 2 years now, and it has been rough. I'm not gonna lie. It has been something that I really didn't think I was ever going to deal with. I never really gave much thought to the thickness of my hair. I think I was naturally blessed with good hair, so I never really thought about how thick my hair was and how it affected my self-worth. And I started losing my hair about, honestly, probably 3 years ago is probably when it started, but I didn't really start to notice until 2 years ago. And it has just been a much more emotional and difficult thing than I think I ever imagined. And I'm probably not gonna get emotional in this video because I have had a lot of time to come to terms with this, but I'm not gonna lie, it was really tough. It was kind of brutal, to be honest, especially when I didn't know what was causing it and I started to feel like it might just be a genetic thing I'm gonna have to deal with for the rest of my life. Most things in life you can fix, right? Even if it's more permanent. If I hated my nose, for example, I realistically could save up enough money to get a nose job if that's something I really wanted to move forward with. But hair loss is it's just it is what it is. And if you have genetic hair loss, you're gonna have to fight for the rest of your life. There is nothing you can do about it. There's no cure. Sure, you can get a hair transplant, but for women, I feel like you are taking hairs from the back of your head to put on the top of your head. It is just moving hairs around on your head. Your hair will never be thicker. This has just been incredibly hard, especially as a woman. I feel like hair makes us feel like women, and I don't really see that many people talking about this, women talking about this, or those who want to be perceived as women. I think that that is a disservice. So I know that when I was first going through this, I looked online constantly, honestly, for people going through similar situations, for solutions, or honestly just listening to other people talk about this situation, because I felt really alone. I felt like no one really understood what I was going through. And wow, I am actually getting emotional. Yeah, I think wow, I did not think I was gonna get emotional on this. It's very isolating, and it's something I felt kind of shameful of. And I have dealt with lots of other things. I've had acne my whole adult life and teenage life. So I've dealt with things, and I think that I have come out the other side on all these things and really just embraced my flaws and things that I was insecure about. And I've come to a point where usually I just think, I can't do much about my genetics, but I can do something about how I act around these things. So, acne, scarring, I've gone to dermatologist, done all of the things that I needed to do to get it under control. And trust me, it's not 100% perfect by any means, but I finally feel like I figured something out for myself. So I just felt like if my hair loss was genetic, I just didn't know if there was something I could do. So it was a very difficult thing. I'm not gonna lie, and I really feel for you if you're going through this. So, oh my God, why am I crying? Honestly, my heart goes out to you so much if you're dealing with this, and I cannot begin to describe how challenging it is, but I promise you, you will find things that work for you, and there are things you can do and things that you are in control of. I just want to give you a big virtual hug if you are going through this right now. Okay, we've covered that. I just kind of wanted to go through the history of how I figured out that this was happening, how I figured out that I was losing my hair. So about 3 years ago, during the summer of the first year of COVID. That's exactly when it started. I think that we all remember the curly girl method got really popular during COVID. And so I was testing out all of the wavy curly girl methods, all that. And they recommended to brush curly hair in the shower versus out of the shower. So I started brushing my hair in the shower. And as I was doing that, I was like, wow, this is a lot of hair coming out. And I just thought, okay, well, it must be linked to the fact that I'm brushing it in the shower. And this is also when the misinformation got really popular on washing your hair once a week. In the shower, I was noticing a lot of hair loss, but my hair once a week. So that must be where most of my hair is actually like coming loose. And I don't actually brush my hair that much anyway. So I figured that that was the cause. So I didn't panic. I didn't think it was weird. But then about a year later, I started noticing decreased hair density. I felt like my hair was thinner. My hair stopped holding curl. I used to have amazing hair with curl. Like I could curl my hair and then like 6 days later, it would still be in my hair. I started to notice my strands felt thinner and more like wispy. And I was like, what the heck is going on? I just started to have this feeling like I think I'm losing my hair, but I didn't really get too worried about it just yet. I went to my doctor at this point and we did some blood work, and she did mention that my iron levels were low. That was kind of to be expected. I'm a menstruating woman and I also am vegan vegetarian. I have been vegetarian I was vegetarian for 3 years before I went vegan, and I've been vegan-ish for about 8 years. I have been predominantly vegan for almost a decade. And obviously I'm not eating red meat, which is where a majority of people get their heme iron, which is more absorbable than regular plant-based iron. I kind of had a suspicion I would be iron deficient anyway. It wasn't crazy. I was not anemic or anything like that. It was just a little bit below healthy levels. I think my ferritin was at like 28 or something. And they say like 30 and above is the non-potentially anemic range. So I was like, okay, I'll start taking an iron supplement. She recommended that as well. And then I was also dealing with a really bad bout of anxiety. It was probably the worst I've ever had to deal with. And I didn't really think that that could have affected my hair loss either. And then I got COVID. So I got COVID in, I think, February of 2021. And so that also may have contributed to my hair starting to fall out in that era as well. After I got that blood work, I figured out my iron was low. I started having suspicions my hair was falling out. I kind of talked to that with my doctor, but she didn't seem too concerned about it. She's like, your blood work looks generally good. Let's just try to work on the iron. I took my iron supplement. I went back for blood work. My iron levels got over that 30 ferritin amount. And she said, you know what, your iron levels look pretty good. Just continue with the supplementation. And then I think I ran out of my supplement and I just stopped taking it. Flash forward to August of 2022 and my hair started to show real intense signs of hair loss. I actually had my boyfriend comment on it. He said like, oh no, your hairline at the top of your head looks really sparse. Like, have you noticed that? And I was like mortified. I was like, I cannot believe a man is noticing my hair loss. So then I was like, okay, this is starting to like really concern me. And then about 2 weeks later, I went to visit my mom and she said the exact same thing. She was like, you need to look at hair loss. Your part is incredibly sparse. So I started to panic. I started to freak the heck out. And this is when I did a bunch of deep dives. I was going through every resource online. I was looking at journals and videos and podcasts and TikToks. I was just anything I could find on hair loss. I found a bunch of people talking about a product called the iRestore helmet or iRestore LED. I don't know. I don't think they call it a helmet. I call it a helmet. I actually have it right here. Okay, so this bad boy. I saw people talking about this online. Dr. Dre, especially, she is a dermatologist, a board certified dermatologist on YouTube here. And I saw her talking about this. And I also saw a couple other people who had hair loss also talk about this product. So I bit the bullet and bought it. This thing is insanely expensive. Like, I cannot describe to you how insanely expensive this is. It's like 1,300 Canadian dollars by the time you include shipping. I was so desperate. I was beside myself, upset. I was crying every day. And I will insert some photos of what my hairline looked like at this point. This thing takes 6 months to kick in, up to a year. So obviously not quick results. And that's the most frustrating part about hair loss, is that it is the slow game. And it's a frustrating slow game because you don't have that much time to react to the hair loss before you get to a point where you will never get that volume back. So things move quickly in that sense, but the reaction time of the good things, the things that help your hair, take forever. So sometimes you don't know if things are working for up to a year, and if everything you're doing isn't working or isn't the root cause, you might have just wasted your time. I was about to book some PRP treatments, which is platelet-rich plasma. It's your own blood, and they take your platelets out of your blood and they inject it back into your scalp to grow hair. It's, I think, like probably $1,000 a treatment, and you need to do probably about 4 to 6 treatments to get results. So I was almost at my breaking point there as well, and I'm happy I didn't do that. I basically waited for this thing to kick in, and I put all of my faith in this. I was using the Ordinary, the density hair serum they have. I was using that as well, but I put most of my faith in this, and I kind of just forgot about the rest. I didn't really think that I needed to worry about anything else. I didn't go to a dermatologist. I didn't get a diagnosis. I didn't go to get any more blood work. I really just thought that I needed something like this and that it would fix all my problems. And I did see improvements. I think around 8 months it took for me to start seeing improvements. And I also at this time was taking my iron regularly. I think my iron supplements mixed with the iRestore played a huge role in me seeing improvements. I really felt like my hair was getting thicker, and I was really excited about it. And I kind of dropped off again. So I stopped taking my iron ran out. It was expensive. I didn't want to replace it. Stopped taking it, kind of lived my life in the summer. I wasn't really using my iRestore regularly. And I just thought that I will continue seeing results from the year that I started the iRestore. So I started iRestore in October of 2022. So I was like in, May, June, I wasn't even at my full year yet. So I was like, my results are just going to continue. And then about August again, I felt like I was receding. My hair was going back to what it was and worse. I was losing clumpfuls of hair. Throughout this whole time, I felt like my hair loss was consistent, even though the iRestore was working. I think what it was working at was making more hairs and making the hairs that were growing come in a little bit thicker, but I don't think it was stopping the actual hair loss. But in August, I felt like the amount of hair coming out of my head was beyond concerning. I was having like mental breakdowns in the shower, if I'm being completely honest. And I'll insert some photos here too of like the average hair shed I was having in the shower. That is when I got back in contact with my doctor. I told her my ferritin levels are now way over the 30 that I was told was the healthy range. It's not the iron. It's not this helmet. I need help. I think I have pattern baldness. And I came to that conclusion because my hair strands have been thinning themselves. Most of my hair loss is here. Actually, no, this is completely untrue. Most of my hair loss has been completely all the way throughout my head, but because the one place I was seeing it the most was on my part, I convinced myself that I was balding here. My dad is completely bald. My grandpa's completely bald. There's baldness on my mom's side of the family. So I was like, I have the gene. It's all there. I was reading articles about how there's no such thing as like only men getting the gene, women get it too. And I convinced myself that I had androgenic alopecia. And I also have a bunch of other symptoms of some sort of hormone imbalance, like acne. I have some PCOS symptoms as well. Like I've never been fully diagnosed with PCOS, but my doctor was worried about it with the other symptoms I was having. So I convinced myself that I had androgenic alopecia, and the only thing that I could do for myself was to get on Minoxidil or Rogaine and to take some sort of androgen blocking medication. And when I talked to my doctor, she agreed. She thought that that was exactly what was going on. She booked me in with an appointment with a dermatologist. She said to go get over-the-counter Minoxidil, Rogaine, and she put me on Spironolactone. So Spironolactone is an androgen blocker. It is used to treat hair loss in women, especially women who have PCOS. She put me on that in the meantime while I waited for my derm appointment, because it was going to be about 2 to 3 months. I took the Spironolactone for I think like 4 days, and I had to stop it. I know that the symptoms will subside over time, but I just did not feel right. I felt completely fucked up. I was constantly thirsty, like not a normal amount of thirst, like ravenous. I remember I went for a 20-minute walk and I didn't bring a water bottle, and I had to like run back because I thought I was gonna die. It was the most insane thirst I've ever felt in my life. My mouth was constantly dry. I felt like I had no saliva in my mouth. I felt like my tongue was covered in this like cast of gray for some reason. I felt weak, shaky, tired, lethargic, fatigued, like all of it. I just felt ridiculous. Like I was like, there's no way in hell I can take this long term. So I stopped taking that, and I did buy Minoxidil, and I did start Minoxidil. And so this is the most common and most researched drug out there for hair loss. And I did a lot of research on it, and there's very diverse results for lots of people. I will link some studies that looked at the combination of microneedling with Minoxidil, and that actually is probably the best outcomes I've seen anywhere for hair growth, is mixing the two. They work like on their own in different ways. So pairing them together is like a very nice symbiotic relationship where they help each other out. So, and Rogaine daily, I use the men's foam formula 5%. Do not buy the women's formula. There is a pink tax on it. It is less. It has like a less dosage. It's like 2% versus 5%. And the 5% has way, way, way better outcomes than the 2%. So it literally says on it, women can't use it. And it's complete bullshit. If you look at any of the studies, women can absolutely use the 5%. There's literally just a giant pink tax on it. It makes me so mad. So do not use the women's formula. And the foam Minoxidil is better tolerated on the skin. It won't cause as much irritation. So I started that. And if you know anything about Rogaine, it makes your hair fall out before it grows in. So basically what it's doing is it's getting all of your hair follicles on the same cycle. So there is a growing phase of your hair cycle. There is a resting phase where your hair is just sitting and resting. And then there is a shedding phase of the hair cycle. So basically what Minoxidil does is it increases the length of the growing phase. And basically what happens when you get on Minoxidil is it lines up all of your hair follicles on the same cycle. So it makes your hair fall out that was gonna fall out anyway. So these are the hairs that are in that shedding phase, and they basically all fall out at the same time. And so about a month after use, if you are somebody who reacts to Minoxidil, because there are some people who don't have a certain chemical on their scalp that needs to be present for Minoxidil to work, if you react to Minoxidil, you will go through a shedding phase. Mixing my hair loss returning, likely because I had low iron, with the Minoxidil shed and with the fall season, which is known to be a season where hair falls out more, I cannot describe how much hair was coming out of my head and how difficult this phase was. This was probably mentally the most tough phase I've ever gone through with my hair loss. And I have talked about how difficult some of these phases have been. So I just want to give anyone a hug who is going through like Rogaine use or who's just dealing with really intense hair loss. It is so difficult, and showering is like I would literally avoid washing my hair because I just didn't want to, but you have to. It's very important for scalp health is to wash your hair often. So that whole wash your hair once a week thing, do not do that. I wash my hair every second day now, and sometimes every day if I need to. You just don't want buildup of products on your scalp. It can be triggering for hair loss. So I started my Minoxidil, and then I booked in with a naturopath. I got blood work done, and then I had my dermatologist appointment. And I think that these were the best things I've ever done for my hair loss, was to go see a goddamn professional. And I cannot believe it took me almost 2 years into my journey to go see a professional. I don't know why. I am just doctor adverse. I wish that didn't sound as bad as it does, but my family growing up was the kind of family where we rarely went to the doctor. We're not against them by any means. I fully believe in medicine. I'm not an idiot. It takes a lot for me to think that I need medical help. I feel like, especially in Canada, we have universal health care. I just always think somebody else has it worse than me. I'm not gonna go take a derm appointment away from somebody else for something silly that I'm sure I can fix at home. And I just waited way too long to take the steps towards getting appointments. And especially here, like getting a dermatologist appointment can take months. I think that was a huge disservice to myself. If I was gonna do this all over again, the number one thing I wish I had done was go see a specialist, go see a dermatologist and a naturopath. A naturopath was actually such a good resource because they just have a much better holistic look at your entire lifestyle, and they can much better tell you like likely what is the cause. And I went to a clinic that specializes in hair loss. At these appointments, after getting blood work done, I found out that ferritin levels, which is your stored iron, it's basically how your body stores iron for whatever it needs it. So ferritin levels should be above about 100 for healthy hair growth. Just because your iron is at a healthy range doesn't mean it's at an ideal range. And I didn't know that. And so my 30 level ferritin was completely off from 100, crazy off. Basically, my naturopath told me most likely you have telogen effluvium that is caused by low iron levels. Basically, my body is in a state of shock because I have such low iron that it is basically limiting hair growth, and it's not prioritizing hair growth because it needs to prioritize other things. The first things to go when your body is under stress, and that is exactly what telogen effluvium is. It is like a stress-based hair loss, and this is what women will get after postpartum. This is what happens after COVID. A lot of people have telogen effluvium post-COVID. I likely had some form of telogen effluvium that was from low iron and also likely linked to my COVID as well. And my anxiety, my big bout of anxiety I went through 2 years ago. So there's a lot of factors here that likely led to what was going on. Iron was most likely the main cause. And then I went to my dermatologist appointment, and I didn't mention anything that my naturopath had mentioned. I just kind of wanted a complete second opinion. And she basically resaid the exact same thing to me. She said, I cannot in good faith give you any treatments like PRP until your iron is above 100. That felt really good, just to get a second opinion and to hear someone say, you know what, like, this is the cause 2 times over. So since then, I have been taking iron supplements religiously. It takes a long time for ferritin to get back up. I think with regular supplementation, you can expect about a 10-point increase every single 30 days. So I tested in November and I was at 40. I had been taking iron since about September. I likely won't have 100 level ferritin for quite a while, unfortunately. And that is another difficult part about this process, is there's no quick way to get my ferritin up unless I wanted to like have a steak. I think if I really, really wanted to get this process going faster, I likely could eat more red meat or get a heme iron source, like a non-vegan iron supplement. I am not willing to do that. I think that I will try my best to get this back up on a vegan diet, or a predominantly vegan diet, vegetarian at the very minimum. And that is just something that I want to do personally. But I think that my naturopath told me that I could also use an IV to get my iron levels up, worst case scenarios. I have an appointment in February, and if my iron has not improved at that stage, then we will go ahead with an IV system, I think. That is basically where I stand right now with hair loss. So minoxidil is meant for pattern hair loss, and that is kind of something I'm not too sure about what I should do. If iron is the root cause, I don't necessarily think I need the minoxidil, but once you start minoxidil and Rogaine, the hair that you grow on it, you will lose the second you stop it. So if I am a responder to Rogaine, if there is an androgenic part of this, there is a portion of that that is from my genetics, then I do not want to terminate the minoxidil and lose the hair I grew on it. So I think what I will do is just continue the minoxidil. One day when I get pregnant, I'm gonna have to stop it anyway, and then we can reassess then. Honestly, the Rogaine, the foam, has been incredibly easy for me to use. I have no reaction whatsoever. I have found that it actually gives me volume in my hair when I use it. So I kind of like the way my hair looks better the day after I put it on my scalp. And then I wash my hair that second day anyway. I don't mind using it at all. It is not an inconvenience to me. It's a little bit expensive. I think a 6-month supply was about $200 Canadian for me at Costco. So a little bit expensive, but I was spending like, $30 a month on, all these random topical treatments and supplements anyway. So I would rather just use something that is clinically tested. And I also will be continuing the microneedling. Yeah, so I guess where am I at today? Do I have an outcome? I don't really have an outcome other than I have noticed the hair shedding in the shower has gone down a lot. I think I'm responding really well to minoxidil, and I think with the iron and the combined overall treatment that I've been doing with my naturopath, my hair loss has been slowing down to a stall. That is not to say that it has stopped. I definitely have some showers where I still kind of panic a little bit. I obviously won't see a difference in my actual hair for quite a while. Even the hair that I grow is going to be baby hair. So I think I will see a filling in of my hairline, but I won't notice density for years. It has to grow out. I just wanted to quickly mention how I have been dealing with the hair loss, and I found ways to make my hair look better while I'm in this in-between phase. The big one is the root sprays. You will kind of look at me today and be like, come on, your hair looks fine. What are you talking about? You're not even dealing with hair loss, blah, 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 blah. And that is because I use a root spray. I use like the sprays that people use for their grays. I use it in my roots, and I literally just fill in side to side here, and it makes me look like I have way more hair than I have. If I don't use it, I kind of freak out. So I use that religiously on my scalp to fill in my hairs, especially also when I pull my hair back. I sometimes have, more sparse areas here. So I will just use that to fill it in. I also have gone to the volume hair product world. So I use volume mousse, I use thickening sprays, I use my Dyson Airwrap, and I will blow my hair up and out, and then I will use rollers, or I will pin the curls so that the strands are sitting upward, and then mix that with all the volume spray I'm using. I get a ton of volume, and it makes my hair look more dense and thicker and more voluptuous than it actually is. Like right now, this is all the hair I have. This is it. This split into two, that is all the hair I have. But I don't think people notice because it looks bouncy. I have layers cut into it. That is a big one. I went to the hairdresser and I just told her exactly what was going on. I said, I'm losing my hair. I need like more volume and more life. And she said, you need to do layers so that the hair is lighter. Like you can see this little piece here. This is a lighter piece of hair, and it's going to have more texture and volume, and it's just going to make your hair look thicker. That made a huge difference, was getting a proper haircut and just learning how to style my hair. I feel like I really got into all of the TikToks and reels of all the girlies doing their Dyson blowouts. And I just figured out a way to style my hair that works for me and that I can do regularly. And I actually have gotten more compliments on my hair in the last year, the worst year of my life dealing with my hair, than I've ever gotten in my life, which is kind of insane. Like I have men tell me they like my hair. So I think that just because you're going through hair loss doesn't mean you need to just like surrender to the hair loss and just give in. Like you can make your hair look good still. Trust me, there are ways to do it. It is so tough, and I really feel for you. Yes, I will link some of my favorite products I use. I wear a silk cap at night just to prevent hair tugging at night. General hair health is also super important. You want to take care of the hair that you have. If I added on breakage on top of my already thinning hair, then obviously my ends of my hair are going to get even thinner. It is really important to take care of your hair health in general. A huge resource that I love for all things hair health is Abby Young here on YouTube. She makes amazing content on how to have the healthiest hair possible, and I listen to her word like gospel. Yeah, I definitely am glad that I didn't try a bunch of, or like I didn't spend a boatload of money on topicals, things like Vegamore hair growth. I've been looking at a bunch of like serums like that, and I'm really glad I didn't bite the bullet on those because I just don't think that they would work. And honestly, I think that had I not figured out the whole iron portion of this equation, I likely would have spent so much money and it just would not have worked. So if you are a female, if you are menstruating female and you have hair loss, look at your stress levels and go get blood work done and check if your ferritin is above 100. It needs to be there for good hair health. Okay. I think that is everything I wanted to talk about today. I will do an update video if I see any improvements, especially around like the 6-month mark that I have been on Minoxidil. Yeah, I just want to give you a big hug. I am so sorry that you are going through this. If you were watching this video and you were dealing with hair loss, I am so sorry you're going through this, and it's completely normal. In my research, found out that I think it's like 70 to 80% of women will go through hair loss at some point in their life. Usually it's just after what is that called when women stop menstruating? I wanted to say masturbation. Why did I want to say masturbation? Menopause. Oh my God. Okay. After menopause, women usually will lose their hair. Women will go through it, especially after having kids. I think that we should all talk about it more. I think acne really took a turn and people started talking about acne more, but I haven't seen that much talk about hair loss. I wanted to be candid with what has been going on in my life with my hair loss in the hopes that I can help someone else out. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and I will see you in the next one.